What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a special edition of Bad Takes, Better Conversations, a wrestling podcast. I'm one of your hosts, WrestleSpot, along with Tommy BTBC and Steven Sports Studios. And we have a wrestler in the building that goes by the name of the Savage Gentleman, Victor Benjamin. How's it going, man?
Good day, guys. It's good right now. How are y'all?
We're doing great. We're doing great. So Tommy's been a real big follower of you for a while, and he's shown us a bunch of stuff. So I'm gonna let him get off his first question.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
absolutely.
Like you said, I've been following for quite some time now. The first thing that kind of put me onto you, I guess, was just I don't even know if I was just scrolling through like the Explore page or whatever, but I just saw you kind of like flexing, showing off your gimmick and everything. I'm like, he has a look that this look I haven't really seen before, so I'm like, I gotta kind of follow up with this guy. So since then, I've just been kind of following you for a couple of years now. So like I said, I'm super excited that you actually responded. I'm super excited that you're here. But I just want to get into it because I don't know if everyone knows, but you have a wrestling partner as well. Her name is Lady Frost. She goes by Lady Frost. What's it like, kind of? Because you guys are both taking dates, right? So what's it like, kind of? I guess maneuvering each of your guys' dates and everything, not kind of stepping on each other's toes, if that makes sense.
I mean, it's fairly simple actually. For the first part of our careers, we actually took everything together. We were always traveling, hitting the road together. We either did a tag team, which is pretty proper, or we managed one another, whether it was my match, whether it was her match, both matches. Um, but now, currently, with her, doing more stuff on TV, she's getting flown a lot of places. I'm still 50-50 driving, flying, and trying to coordinate our dates is good. We were just in Erie for Revenge Pro a few weeks ago, maybe last week actually, and they had a 5-year anniversary, huge show, like 500 people or something. We've been a part of it since day one, and it was nice to be able to actually get to travel with her again.
No, that's nice. That's nice. Speaking of pretty proper, do you guys ever see yourself? Because she is taking a lot more TV dates. She was just on Collision not too long ago. Um, do you want that to come back pretty proper? Because I mean, that mixed tag would be pretty cool. I mean, I was a fan of that as well, so I would like to see you guys back. Would you like to see you guys back on TV even?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the goal is, to be on TV every week, multiple times a week if possible. That's always the goal, get that big contract. She's there. So if there was any way, any capacity, I know they have Sammy and Tay there, and a couple other married couples, couple other relationships. They haven't done much intergender, but if they do that, even a mixed tag, that would be an ideal situation. But right now, I'm just happy she's there.
That is tough. That is sick. That is sick.
So another thing about you being a wrestler on the road and stuff, what do you think has been the hardest thing to adapt to as getting on the road and all that?
Just being on the road, you mean? So we learned fast. One, you got to have a good car. And you got to have a spacious car. I'm not a little guy, so for a little while we had this tiny little Mazda that was great on gas, and then eventually got to the point where I was just rounded in the car in the front seat. Wasn't fun. And then we got our 2 dogs, so we travel with them sometimes. So we needed space for them, in addition to our gear bags. But we were making trips in our first year wrestling together up to Canada, which was about 8 hours one way. It wasn't, we were driving to beyond Massachusetts, up to Worcester, and that was 10 hours each way. So we're no strangers to driving. It's been pretty much what it is. Like, you hop in the car, you invite a couple people, see if anyone takes you up on the offer, and hit the road. Just make sure, you pack a lot of peanut butter for all those road snacks.
That is another thing I want to get into. You're like a peanut butter advocate. It seems like
No,
also
I
you're a
am
better figure
the
champion.
peanut butter guy. I'm
Oh,
not I'm the guy.
the guy. How did all that kind of come about? Like, how did you become the guy when it comes to all that? Like I said, you're also the Butterfinger champion if you want to get into that as well.
Well, that's when I became the guy. Whenever Butterfinger had a custom title, custom engraved and sent to me, proclaiming me as the crispity crunchity peanut butter champion. So
That's what's up.
no one's beat me for it. I defended it all over the country, and no one has taken that title from me. So it's mine, and it will forever be mine because I will never lose that. But it started, honestly, probably about like 10, 12 years ago, something like that. Whenever I was just starting mixed martial arts, I would fight. And, whenever you're in a fight camp, diet super strict, you got to cut weight. So every time after a fight, I would have a gang of every possible peanut butter treat that you could imagine. And it just continued to extrapolate. And then one day, I decided to put peanut butter on my eggs for breakfast. And exactly, I saw all of your heads turn at the same time. That's the same reaction that I get across Twitter, and everyone got an uproar. And so I just kept doing it. I was like, well, if you're going to get upset about no one's eating it, I'm eating it. It is delicious. So then I started to bet people. And I was like, I guarantee I created a challenge. It was the peanut butter egg challenge. And everyone that tried it loved it.
Wow.
So, and it just kept going and kept going. And then I was like, well, I could do peanut butter. Then I ended up linking up with Fucking Nuts, which is a brand based out of Texas. They created my own peanut butter. So now I have, for the longest time, they were just shipping me, I was just doing like typical sponsorship, advertising for them. They'd send me all the stuff, put on my social media. And once I got that title, they created a Butterfinger peanut butter for me.
That's
Then
actually sick.
I got another one, which is named after my followers, the Peanut Butter Platoon. And it has 5 different types of peanut butter in the peanut butter.
Yo, that sounds like.
Who else got
So
their
it's
own
like
peanut butter? You
No,
tell me
that's
somebody got their own peanut butter, and then maybe I'll consider them as being any peanut butter guy.
well, I don't know anyone that got their own peanut butter. I don't know anyone that got that because I know Jim Ross got what? Got barbecue sauce.
You got barbecue sauce.
Right?
Yep. Danhausen got his coffee. Rich
Yeah.
Holiday got his coffee too.
Okay. You might be
But
okay.
it's
That
my
might be a
market space.
new
It's mine.
that might be a new bar, a new standard. You don't got peanut butter, bro. What are you doing? What are we even
I have peanut butter beard butter.
like did it like taste
Oh yeah.
like peanut butter? Or
No,
like
it smells just like a Reese peanut butter cup.
yo, I'm gonna have to where can I get these products? I'm gonna have to do a review or something.
So Mythical Beards, I work with them exclusively. They make all my products. Lady Frost actually has a scent as well because the Mythical Beards company is based off of mythological creatures. So in order to make a dual package, they made Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And I'm the crazy person and she's the sane person, normal relationship stuff. But hers is amazing. It's entirely different than mine. It's like fresh fallen snow. And mine's chocolate peanut butter. But if you go to Mythical Beard, you can get that. You go to Fucking Nuts, it's literally, that's the guy's last name. That's the owner's last name is Fokken.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely check those out. I feel like I have to. I'm a part of this peanut butter platoon, so I think
Yes.
so. I think I'm in there. So I have to try these out. I have to see if that beer. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to catch up with you too, man. I'm trying to. Your
Yeah,
beard is amazing.
keep growing. This is years and years of perfecting it. But thank you, I appreciate it.
No, I gotcha. Let's get back to some wrestling real quick because there's
Definitely.
some matches that I actually watched recently. I mean, I watched them when they were, I guess, when they initially came out, but these are just the easiest ones to kind of get access to. So there was one you were on AEW Dark before, which
Yeah.
I enjoy. You wrestled Frank Kazarian, which is, I mean, he's one of I used to go by Tommy Impact. He's an Impact legend, so he's I
Yes.
respect him quite a bit. How was kind of I guess being in that atmosphere, in that AEW atmosphere, and an atmosphere just like that. How was that kind of going? He was also in NWA, everybody as well. But kind of
Yeah.
explain that.
My time at AEW was amazing. Frankie was great. Uh, obviously he's not there anymore. He's back at Impact,
Mm.
but I'm happy to see him thriving again. He bet on himself, and that's exactly what I was doing whenever I got up there. I got an opportunity. I made the best of it. We were there. We got to have a match, a nice, good, competitive singles match, which doesn't happen often, especially for people's debuts there. It was my debut, and they liked what they saw. I got invited back a couple weeks later to do more dark tapings down in Orlando at Universal, and that went very well. And a little bit of time went off. I did some more backstage stuff, but never got any more matches. And then that's whenever I started working with NWA.
Which was another nice little stint. Go ahead.
I got a question. Would you like in the future? Would you be down to be? Let's say the opportunity came. Would you be down to be like a full-time AW guy, or would you want to still be able to do like anything like NWA and things like that?
No, I would love to be a full-time AEW guy. Right now, I see them as the best, the best television product. They have the largest roster, and it rivals every and any other company that's doing it. New Japan, WWE. I feel they're ahead. Of most others. So to be there, plus at the same time, I would get to travel with my wife every week. So it'd be incredible.
That's very cool, man. Something similar to a question we just asked was how Tommy mentioned how you wrestled with Kazarian. I've also known you've wrestled with the likes of what's the name, Lance Archer, Matt Cardona. Who are some of the guys that like really stand out to you that you've worked with before?
I had the opportunity to work with Brian Cage. He actually wanted to work a match with me, which was very much a honor in itself. To wrestle a former world champion like him, and we tore it up down in, I think it was Mississippi. It's my first time ever down there, and then ever since, him and I became really good friends. Lance and I also, we had a feud over peanut butter. In case you don't know that, because I am the peanut butter guy, and technically I did beat him because he doesn't have the title. So if he's watching this, Lance, you already know I'm the guy. Cardona was awesome. A lot of people see certain different traits. You see what you want. But whenever you're in the ring and you're engaging in combat, it's a mutual respect among two people. And it's just like fighters, right? I did mixed martial arts for 10 plus years. And literally, I had to fight some of my friends. Some guys I didn't like, and I didn't mind. But same thing. You sign that same dotted line, I'm going to punch you in the face, and I'm going to get my hand raised.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You said, I would say, you said something about mixed martial arts because you do have a very unique style, especially when you get in, you get in that ring. Kind of, was there something that kind of put you onto that style from an early age, or what kind of made you saw it and you was like, yeah, this is the style that I'm gonna go with? What kind of made you decide that kind of rough fight pick kind of style? It's like I would describe it.
Well, I grew up as a wrestling fan, my entire life, like pretty much all of us have. If you didn't like wrestling at some point, you were never a fan. But I graduated high school after doing a year as a collegiate wrestler, like an amateur wrestler. Then natural transition, that just takes you right into mixed martial arts. Had a buddy, he was training, invited me there. I trained 2 months later. I had my first fight. 2 weeks after that, I had my second fight. I was 2-0 and just took off from there. So it was a natural fit for what my body does. And now bringing it back into the character, because I got away from the steampunk gentleman aspect, really pushing down the Sagat Street Fighter style, because it's what my body does. And I just happen to have an uncanny, resemblance to the guy as well. Real life video game character, but I do moves that no one can do in real life. So that also in return lends itself to the video game aspect. But I love that style. I'm a big fan of Muay Thai. Everything that I do is revolved around that and the character. It's all character based work, but being able to sink my teeth into something, the peanut butter stuff is awesome. I love the gentleman character, but as we spoke about earlier, the gentleman and the lady, we don't really get to travel as much together anymore. So it's time to start to develop. And the fighter has always been a side of me. That's the savage side of the savage gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I still like to wear nice suits. I still wear nice hats, but now it's just very much all savage whenever I get in the ring.
I like that. I like that. And speaking, because again, it's not you don't get to travel with Lady Frost as much anymore. And you did just mention you're trying to kind of that new side that I guess kind of not necessarily separate yourself in a way, but just establish your own. I guess a new character. Is
Right.
that kind of what you're doing, or and if it is, how has that process been going so far?
So if you look at the current landscape across all companies, who's the mixed martial arts guy? There really aren't any right now. And to further elaborate, who's the Muay Thai guy? There isn't one. So it's a wide open void that's mine for the taking. And I've been doing it very well because it's what I've always done my entire professional athlete career. But now transitioning it to pro wrestling, it makes even more sense being that, Ken Shamrock's not in here. We got Tom Lawler, down at New Japan, but all the guys that came before him that set the pace and set the path for us opened everything wide up. But not everyone has the pedigree that I do. I'm an undefeated professional mixed martial arts fighter. A lot of people might have some martial arts experience, but they're not battle tested like I am.
Which I kind of agree with. You do have, like I said earlier, you do have a very unique. I don't even want to call it a gimmick or a character because it seems so effortlessly for you to portray that because it is. It seems like that is who you are. You do have that side to you. So I think it's gonna be pretty easy change for you even if it feels like a change.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm
It fits
excited.
naturally. That's who I am. It's what my body does.
I'm gonna say welcome back, Steven. But I'm gonna say, Steven, do you want to ask him? I like the question you had earlier before we got on. Ask him that one real quick because I'm curious.
I'm curious.
Out of everyone in the wrestling industry, who is one person you like? Who is your dream opponent that you will want to face? That's currently active right now, and then who's a wrestler you wish that you could have wrestled? It could have been a legend like Undertaker or something like that.
Especially with the style that you have now. I'm interested.
Right. There's a few people, and I guess they kind of tie in to both of those elements because as you were just signing back in, I was telling the guys Ken Shamrock was a huge influence on my mixed martial arts career, and he's no longer in it, but he's also not out of it. He's just currently not active. It doesn't mean he doesn't have a part or that he couldn't be enticed to come back. But that would be my dream match. Him and I, after I did Bloodsport a few years back, him and I had a few interactions back and forth on Twitter. We were trying to make it happen and never did. But if that was the one match, that would be it.
I would pay to see it. I'm not gonna lie. Ken Shamrock coming out of, I guess you can say, retirement. I would love to see it. I would love to see it.
I had another question. How do you feel about the wrestling world right now? Where it's at right now? It's getting more attraction. It's becoming way more mainstream now. You see guys like Logan Paul and Bad Bunny getting into it now. It's starting to get that ESPN and serious attention. How do you feel about how the whole wrestling industry is right now?
I love it. I was a fan, my entire life, so I've always loved it. But it is the best time ever to be a professional wrestler because of the exposure. Social media obviously has helped enhance that, but because of the crossover stars, like you mentioned, those guys are really bringing a mainstream appeal to what we're doing now. because in the combat sports world, it's mixed martial arts, there's UFC or boxing, those fights are making millions and millions of dollars per match, whereas wrestling was always looked down upon because everyone thinks that it's fake. Well, it's not fake. Like, the art's still very real. The bumps are still real. The neck surgery I had is very real, but it is the best time to be a professional wrestler. It's the best time to be a professional wrestling fan because there is so much on TV at any given moment. Every single day you can flip on and watch wrestling. But, 20, 30, 40 years ago, you'd be lucky if you got it one day a week.
Okay. I had one more. How about the Dan, go ahead.
I'll get mine in real quick.
I just had it.
So yeah, it is, as you said, it is cool to see the amount of attention that wrestling is getting again in 2023. So, but what are some promotions that you've worked for in the recent in your recent career that you think deserve more attention?
Like I just mentioned, Revenge Pro up in Erie, they're doing something special there. It's a very local audience. Like I said, they draw about 500. They don't have a large social media presence yet, but there's a ton of talent up there. Those guys for sure. Another local promotion here is run by Sam Adonis, who is one of the megastars down in AAA. That always draws. That always has loaded roster. Two of those, and a couple other companies I worked for in the past that do have the recognition, like Beyond, AAW, out in Chicago, Beyond up in Massachusetts, even MAW, Midwest All Stars out in Minnesota. Those guys are doing something special out there. The entire Texas scene. I haven't wrestled for many different companies down there, but there's Hurricane Pro. They put on some of the best women's matches. My wife was the champion down there for over a year, and she had bangers with every single person that you can think of, and everyone that she had a match with, herself included, are all signed talent now. Those guys are really putting on a good product down there in Texas.
We got to get you down here in Texas, man.
Me and Tommy are Texas guys, so that's good to hear. There's a bunch of good promotions down here.
Go put the word out. I'm ready to go wheels up.
Yeah, we gotta get you in Texas, man. I gotta go. We gotta get you down here. That'll be lit.
Where are you guys from in Texas?
I'm San Antonio.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in Killeen, closest to the Austin area, about an hour away from there. So yeah.
Not bad. I mean, Texas, you could drive like 47 hours and never be out of Texas.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Also, my boy Steven here's from Philly.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I plan on moving to Texas though.
There you go. Everything's bigger in Texas, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they say. So hopefully I'm not disappointed when I get down there because Texas does look beautiful.
Just make sure you go to Buc-ee's.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Gotta go to Buc-ee's. Even if you don't make it like a weekly thing, you gotta go at least one.
It puts Wawa to shame.
Oh yeah. And I loved Wawa. Oh man.
Right.
The question I had, you're like a veteran in the wrestling industry. What advice would you give for up and coming wrestling, up and coming wrestlers? We have a friend. His name is Zay. To start before time, he's actually getting into like the wrestling industry. What would you give? Like, what advice would you give to someone like him or anyone else that's getting into the industry?
First off, you have to start at a good school. That's first and foremost. That means the world. I started at a good school. My trainers were really, really good, but they never had any time on like the major TV networks. So having a coach that has already spent time or has the connections in those fields is invaluable. Create a Pro out in New York and New Jersey, they're really, really killing it right now. They have a ton of guys on TV. Women, Chris Stat's champ right now. But definitely getting in a good school, getting in that good education. Because there's so many people out there now that are just willing to take everyone's money just to say, hey, I can teach you how to bump or teach you how to do a body slam. And it's not fair to the people that are being taken advantage of. But besides that, social media is king in this era. During COVID, that's how I made a name for myself. I was still relatively new, and the peanut butter stuff, what really shot me into a different atmospheres, and it was because of Twitter. My Instagram was way above, and then Twitter just blew up. But it's interacting with people. Always interact with everyone. Just like you said, you couldn't believe that I responded to you, right? Why would I not? If for me to send you a message back takes all of 30 seconds and costs me absolutely nothing. Even if we don't get here today where we are right now, maybe we set something up for the future. You never know. But interacting with people, I just had some people, I never even met them. I got fans in Canada, got fans in UK, got fans in Australia. I just had someone send me peanut butter and Marmite. It was the worst thing I ever tasted. Never eat it. Don't try it. I don't care how much someone pays you. Don't try it. It's awful. It literally tastes like burnt salt. But I did try it just because a fan took time out of their day and money out of their pockets to send me something that's exclusive to their country. Otherwise, I never would have had that interaction if I didn't just comment back or accept the DM. Now, I don't want people sliding in my DMs with no weird stuff, but if you want to send me some food, let's go.
Of course, yeah. Don't. No weird stuff, please, guys. No, don't.
Right. But yeah, just social media is king. Like if you don't interact on social media, you're fighting a losing battle right there. Then.
Okay.
So we kind of mentioned during that you kind of blew up on social media during the pandemic. What was tough about being a wrestler at that time?
No one was running.
No one was running. Yeah.
Right. I was thankful to be a part of Chikara at the time. Steven, you might remember. You might know them up in the Philly area. Thankfully, they were doing in-house tapings at the time, so I was still able to wrestle at least once a month. But it was on a closed set. There were only a couple people there at a time. Same similarities to WWE, Impact, AEW. They were doing shows with no audience. I mean, WWE had the digital world for a while. It was crazy times. It was the dark ages of wrestling, but we all persevered because of the fans, people like you guys wanting to still watch the product and allowing us to continue to make our art. That's what kept everything going. But it was terrible. Couldn't travel, couldn't leave your state, city, couldn't go see all the friends that you have from all over the country. It was a real bad time.
So I am glad that's over. I'm glad that's over.
Me too.
I have a question, but it has to do with your wife, Lady Frost. Like, I want to ask you, like, how do you feel about the way women's? I know you're not a women's wrestler, but I know your wife is Lady Frost. I want to know, like,
I have wrestled women though.
But I just wanted to get your thoughts on like the way women's wrestling has evolved and like the way it's growing more in popularity. You see women like Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks and Charlotte and all that, main eventing, saying top pay-per-views, or even Jamie Hayter. Like, how do you feel about the way women evolution of wrestling is going? Especially Lady Frost. I feel like she gets very she don't get as much love because I know she's not as popular, but she don't get enough love. She's done some great work on the indie scene. So I just wanted to get your thoughts.
I mean, women's wrestling as a whole has stepped up insanely. Just as a whole, in general, with the athletes. There's no longer the diva era where it was just all about TNA. Where people could do a bulldog or a headlock, a body slam. No, especially like women like my wife, Charlotte, Bianca, who are just true athletes and really can go out there and perform in front of any crowd too, nonetheless. They're, if not, I know they're not treated the same, but they're just as good as most of the men. It's just still a niche thing that's being put on TV. It's not given its credit yet. And I think a lot of people respect it a hell of a lot more, that's for certain. But on TV. It still hasn't quite gotten the same amount as the men, but it's also ratios, right? There's more male wrestlers to female wrestlers currently. It's the way the business is. But certainly, like women main eventing WrestleMania, it's epic.
It's a great thing to see, and especially this time. But I guess to close this out, question we all want to know is what is next for the Savage Gentleman?
Next, so I got a podcast this Monday with a certain person. I don't know if I can announce it or not yet.
So let me
When's
know
it
this won't be
airing?
out. This won't be out till at least August 2nd. At least.
Okay, cool. So it's with Mikey Ruckus.
Ooh.
Uh,
Okay.
And so you guys definitely got to make sure you're on the lookout for that. That is going to be a good one. He just did my music with the transition of the characters. He made an absolute banger for me. It's true final boss vibes. 100% of exactly who I am. He encompassed that, up and down. But then I'm going down to Imperial in 2 weeks. So I got a week off, which will be nice. We're having a pool party this weekend. And next weekend, we're going to chill. We're going to get everything situated. But we're debuting for Imperial Pro. And it's been 2 years in the making. So some always come up, in between that. But, schedule's still open. Still taking bookings. I'll be up in New York. I'll be in New Jersey. I'll be in Alaska, next couple months. Like, still pretty busy schedule, but there's always room for more. Alaska is great. That's Wrestle Pro.
Really?
Out of
Yes.
curiosity, what's the scene like? What's the wrestling scene like in Alaska?
There is none.
Oh,
There's one company. It's 907, and then Wrestle Pro partnered with them, and now they've created a wrestling scene.
okay.
My wife, you can say I'm biased, but she's the Wrestle Pro Women's Champion, so she's defending the title up there. I think it's the end of September. We'll be up there for a few days. But the guys at 907, they are killing it. Like, they're keeping the fire alive, and then we come up, once every month or every 2-3 months and put on like an even bigger show. Wrestle Pro's killing. They bring in tons of AEW talent. I forget who's coming up to the next one, but there's been guys like Jay Lethal, the Blue World Order, Enzo. I mean, like, literally, like a who's who of talent have come up through Alaska, and they're killing the scene up there.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Let's see, but of course, if there's anything at all you want to plug before we get out of here, man.
Buy my new shirt. Go to Savage Gentleman, Big Cartel, and I got the brand new navy blue Street Fighter shirt.
It's actually pretty sick. I just checked.
I don't know if we could do like one of those little right here on the screen.
It'll be right.
So right in my hands, whammy, right here. But they are the softest shirts. I don't know if you got one, Tommy, but I don't print on scratchy shirts. That's for WWE only. I don't understand why they do it, but as I don't have any WWE shirts, I refuse to do that to my fans because I only wear good shirts. So if I'm gonna wear it, I need to be comfortable, and I'd rather pay a little bit of extra money and make sure that my fans have a higher quality product than just being all about the bottom dollar.
I'm gonna get one of those shirts. I gotta support a top guy.
Now that's savage.
I don't know if you noticed, but I've been tweeting ever since you kind of confirmed that interview. I've been tweeting now that's savage kind of randomly every now and then. So
fantastic. It fits in almost any situation.
Everything. It's perfect.
But yeah, everything he just mentioned will be in the bio. There'll be links and all that. We definitely appreciate you being our first interview as a group, and I believe it went well. Appreciate you being here, man.
Likewise, guys. It was my pleasure. Until next time.
Yes, sir.
We'll see y'all later. Stay savage.